I've been collecting things probably my entire life. It really started out with older baseball cards. I grew up in the late 70s and 80s, and I collected baseball cards back at that time frame. But I was also able to acquire a bunch of older cards from the 50s and 60s, and I collected cards up until about mid 80s when I went off to college. And that kind of, once I got into the working world, started collecting other things, and really kind of started out with the Lionel trains when I acquired them from my grandfather who had them, and I remember them as a kid, and that kind of got me kick-started. I'm Doug Slusser. I'm a collector, and specifically a collector of slot cars, and slot cars are little HO scale cars that go around the track. I also collect the bigger ones, the 132nd and the 124 scale. I also collect a lot of other things too. I collect old Lionel trains, old toys, and anything that takes me back to my childhood. Lately, within the last year or so, I've gotten into the Kenner SSP cars, and specifically the Smash Up Derbies. I had those as a kid, loved them. Tough to find them around here. Obviously, you can find them on eBay, but they're very expensive. Fortunately, here in the last couple months, I was able to pick up a set that I had as a kid. I kind of transformed into the slot cars because again, my dad had those when I was a kid. He was really into the 132nd. I remember him having a slot car table that you would actually pull out from the crawl space. We also had HO scale slot cars, and when I got to the position where I could start acquiring some of these, I did, and I really enjoy it. So I'm not in it to make a flip or find a car and for $10 and sell it for 20. I'm not into that. But I do go around. My wife and I have traveled the country to buy slot car collections. And when you do that, of course, you acquire things that you don't necessarily want to keep or acquire doubles. And so what I do is I sell the extra stuff that I either don't want or have doubles of, and sell those to try to support my habit. Really, it's the thrill of the hunt. A lot of the slot cars in this area, they're just very, very hard to find. Now, if you go on the East Coast, they're all over the place. I go to garage sales, estate sales, any kind of sale looking for, slot cars, trains, whatever, but specifically slot cars, you just cannot find them around here. But again, I got into this because I enjoy them. I enjoy looking at them, and they're just a lot of fun. Part of it too is I enjoy fixing the slot cars. A lot of times you get a car that doesn't run, but I've got a ton of parts that I can draw from that make them work properly, and that's part of the fun for me, to take something that doesn't quite work right or isn't quite running as fast as it should and get it to run a lot faster. I think I've learned a lot from this job. I think that, I have a lot of different people that either come to the house to buy things, or I go to slot car shows, train shows, and I think what you learn is that you got to be honest with what you're trying to sell. I mean, when I sell something, I guarantee that it works. If they get it home and it's not working, they're not going to come back. A lot of the business I have, or a lot of the sales that I have, are repeat customers. So if you're just trying to sell them one time with a bunch of junk that, you tell them one thing and it's not exactly true, they're not going to come back. A lot of the people that buy stuff from me come back 4 or 5 times, and you got to treat them right. So if you're looking to add to your collection or get into the hobby, I'd be glad to help you out. I have a lot of cars that would be available for purchase, but I'm always looking for collections myself. So if you have some slot cars, trains, old toys in your attic or in the garage, I'd be glad to take a look at them and see if we could come to an agreement. But I'm always looking to add to my collection. I graduated from Bradley University back in '88 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Business Management, went on to get my MBA in Finance. And a lot of this stuff I have, I keep specific track of. I have inventory of all my cars, and it just kind of goes hand in hand with what I like doing, of keeping track of stuff.